Hi everybody, welcome back. Okay, I lied last time, I'm sorry, but this time we really are going to learn about what relations are. Now, what are relations? Let's find out. So, as always, open up a sketch. I already have one open, so let's go ahead and hit the sketch button, click on the front plane, and zoom towards my origin. Now, you've been seeing relations a lot before this point. You might just not realize what they are. I'm going to go ahead and click on this rectangle and drag it over here. Now, depending on how you have your settings, you might see little green squares next to each of the lines and also next to the origin. Each of them has a little symbol in it. This one has a straight line going left and right, straight line going up and down, and it looks kind of like sideways T, like an angled T right there. Now, if you're not seeing these, go over here until you see the eye, click on the drop-down box, and go all the way down to this guy right here. And make sure that it is selected. It's gray right now for me, so we just select it. If I click on it, they disappear. Click on them again, they reappear. If you're still not seeing them after that point, something's wrong, make sure you email me. Okay, now what are relations? Well, relations are an assumption. Like, oh, you know what they say about assuming? No, but it's necessary. You have to have it. So relations are making an assumption. In Solidworks, when I made this rectangle, it said, you know what? I'm guessing that you want the bottom and top of it to be completely horizontal, as in parallel to this little red line right here, and the sides to be vertical, as in parallel to this red line right here, my origin. I don't want to be able to have this at an angle. And if you notice this, I can't actually make this guy at an angle. There's nothing I can do to rotate this guy. Another thing is, I can't move it off the origin, because this relation right here says that it is, this point, this corner, is connected to the origin. Now we do this for a reason. One, I can't actually have a dimension of 0. Maybe you can, but it's really wonky and you shouldn't do it. So I want to put this on the origin. This is the only way to do it. We have to drag it there. It will add a relation. Now, let's try some other ones. There's actually other kinds of rectangles. I'm going to use a 3-point corner rectangle to let myself have a rectangle that is at, strange angle. Now, in this case, I have different relations. This one right here means perpendicular. This one right here means parallel. So it's saying, hey, these two lines are parallel, and these two lines are perpendicular to them. That keeps it a rectangular shape always, even if I'm to change the angle, which I could do with the dimension now. Now, if you click on a relation, double-click it, sorry, it will show you its name, coincident 0. If I also just scroll over it for long enough, it will turn orange. It will also tell you the name, which usually tells you what something means. It's horizontal. Now, how do I add a relation? There's lots of ways to do it. One, there's a button right here called Display Delete Relations. If I click the drop-down box, I can also click on Add Relation. That works. What I normally do is I click on the thing that I want to add a relation to, and I go from there. So if I click on this line right here, just by itself, nothing else selected, I have horizontal, vertical, and fix. Fix is always wrong. Never, ever, ever use it. It's not a good idea. That just says, freeze it! It will never move again, but doesn't actually connect it to everything else like it should. And it makes it harder on you. So I'm going to make this horizontal. Now this line right here is horizontal. It can never be anything besides horizontal. If I want to change that, I can. If I go over here, you see I've got this line selected. It says existing relations. I can click on either one of those and delete them, and they're gone. So click on horizontal, gone. It no longer has to be a horizontal line, but it still has to be perpendicular to this side right here. Click on perpendicular, delete it, gone. Now this line can actually move however I want it to. It no longer has to be perpendicular or horizontal. However, if I have it set at an angle, and I add a relation like horizontal, you will see that it pops it into place. It will fix it to make it so. Now, depending on what you select will depend on what kind of relations you can add. I've got this circle. If I click on it, just by itself, not really much I can do. Click on the dot, really not much I can do. Lines works well, but where it really shines is when you click on two things. When I click on this point, Control, I'm holding the Control key, click on this circle. Now that I've done that, you see that I've got 3 relations. Fixed doesn't really count, so I guess 2 relations. One is coincident. That makes the center of my circle be right here. Another one is concentric. There's lots of things I can do here. So I'm going to say coincident. Oop. Oh, sorry. I was clicking on the outside edge, not the inside dot. So since I clicked the outside line and that dot, it made that dot be somewhere connected to this outside line. Okay? And I can click on this guy again and click on another dot. Control click. Coincident. And weird things have happened. It's fine. It doesn't really matter. Now, when I did that, you notice that this is no longer a perfect rectangle, is it? Why is that? Well, it's because I never said that this bottom line had to be horizontal. I just said that this bottom line has to be perpendicular to these side guys, and they're not related to this guy. So if I really wanted to switch it back to being a perfect rectangle, I can click two lines, and now you see I've got a whole bunch of options right here. Normally, though not always, the one that's in bold is the one that's correct. Not always, though. I click perpendicular, it's back to being a straight line. Okay, I can click on two lines. Another one that's really helpful is horizontal. Like, well, they're already horizontal lines. Yes, but if you say horizontal, you're clicking two lines. We do horizontal to each other sometimes. Oh. I feel silly, sorry. If you click on collinear, make them collinear to each other. I'm not crazy. If you click on a dot and a line, you can do various things. So that's coincident. That works really nicely. And let's see, a dot and another dot. Horizontals for the dots. Sorry. If you have two dots, let me get that a little bit better here. I'll get rid of this guy. Drag this guy up here. I can't calculate those guys. Okay. So if I have two dots right here and I say, hey, you know what, I want this point and this point to be straight across from each other, I can select them both, horizontal, and they'll be straight across from each other. And that's just making those two dots be straight across from each other. It has nothing to do with the lines unless those lines are also connected to the dot. Now the cool thing about this is the more relations you add, the less dimensions you will need to fully constrain your picture to make sure that everything is held down and working well. Now, I did not cover all of the relations. The biggest thing I wanted to show you is that they're there, and SolidWorks knows about them, and it can help you a lot to add them in. You do that, you click on something, you click on the buttons over here. An issue, though, is sometimes SolidWorks adds relations you don't want. Like, for example, and this will be the last thing I talk about today, I made my rectangle right here coincident to the origin. But maybe I didn't want it to be coincident to the origin. I just wanted it to be very, very close to it. Like, very close. Well, SolidWorks doesn't really let you do that unless you zoom in a lot. If I get close to that origin, it's going to snap to it. You see how it's snapping? And I can try my best to make it really, really close without touching it, but it's going to snap to it. And so what I can do then is say, okay, delete that origin, and now if I want to, I can add a relationship. Or sorry, add a dimension and move it slightly away. Or if you really want to, you don't have to do that at all, you can just move it really far away and add your dimensions to bring it close. Lots of ways to do things. But that's it for this time. Relations, how do they work? So make sure you practice with this and mess around with it, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.